Well, kids are heading back to school, and it's all supposed to be about reading, writing, and arithmetic, right? Well, for some, the radical left is trying to brainwash our kids with radically divisive and inappropriate sexualized materials. You got classrooms decorated with Black Lives Matter logos and rainbow flags, and sex, gender, and race discussions with our children, they are running rampant.
I feel like at this point it should be reading, writing, radicalization. So we're going to talk more about what's going on in our classrooms and how we as Americans can stop the indoctrination of our children here. Oh, well, joining us for our panel right now, we have former Lieutenant Governor of New York State. We have Betsy McCaughey. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to Prime News. And we also have Stacy Langton. She is a Fairfax, Virginia parent and founder of mamagrizzly.org. That's mamagrizzly.org. So, Betsy McCaughey, I want to go to you first because in New York area, Greenwich, Connecticut, just right there north, it's a very affluent area. We are hearing a story about an assistant principal there who was actually caught on camera telling, I guess, a prospective employee or something like that, saying, hey, we are not going to hire anybody that's a Catholic or anybody that may have possibly voted Republican. Yet when you look at the media, you're not even seeing this story anywhere, really. And of course, we're going to bring it up right here on Newsmax. Betsy McCaughey, what's your reaction to hearing something like this?
Well, this is actually quite typical. It's an example of how the teachers' unions all across the country have the school systems in their grip, and they're determined to indoctrinate rather than educate. And as you pointed out just a moment ago, parents are fighting back, demanding, for example, the teachers, first day of school, scrub those classrooms of the pride flags and the Black Lives Matter symbols so that when kids walk into the class, they see the alphabet, they see maps of the world, they see the times tables, learning tools, not political slogans. But what happened in Greenwich is really shocking. This assistant principal was caught on camera saying that Greenwich school systems, Greenwich, Connecticut, are determined to indoctrinate kids and turn them, he said, into Democratic voters. And to do that, the committees that interview and hire prospective teachers automatically disqualify Catholics and anyone they suspect is a Republican voter. Now, if this is true, it is so shocking, and yet the teachers union responded simply by circling their wagons and saying, we won't talk to the press. This kind of thing should be so abhorrent to any American.
You know, Stacey, when you think about back to school, you're in Fairfax County, Virginia. Loudoun County is a neighboring county. You really have been ground zero in terms of leading the fight of parents against these woke school boards, these woke classrooms. A lot of parents, I would imagine right now, are so apprehensive if their kids aren't already back to school, they're heading back to school, and they're so nervous about what's about to happen in that classroom, what they might miss. Obviously, there's a lot that could go on, and you have these teachers in the classroom saying, hey, Johnny, you know, if you want to be Susie, that's fine. We won't tell your parents. We'll call you Susie in the classroom. There is a lot going on, Stacey. So what do you say to those parents in terms of preparing for this as they head into the school year?
Well, I would like to say that I am equally determined as that principal in Connecticut. I am determined to raise my children to be good conservatives. And the only flag that has any place in a public school classroom is the United States flag, and it should be used for the Pledge of Allegiance. I think it's well past time for all of this political ideology to be removed from the classroom, and if that needs to happen legislatively, then so be it. But I'm very much, going to keep up the fight in terms of protecting my children, especially from the dangers of this gender queer theory ideology, which has become so pervasive on the national level. And who would have ever thought when I went to the school board last September and exposed those books that we would be having a national conversation a year later. So I think it behooves all parents to become very involved and very aware and, stand up and fight back.
I want to congratulate Stacey for what she's doing because, in fact, parents all over the nation who have never thought about running for any political office need to consider running for their local school boards because they need to take control of those school boards away from the teachers' unions that are so committed to this left-wing ideology. If you want your children to go to school and learn instead of being indoctrinated, unfortunately, you have to take a bigger role and go for those school board elections. And that's what's happening all across the country.
And that's why Glenn Youngkin actually won in Virginia, because it was so shocking for him to say, you know what, parents should have a say of what their kids learn in the classroom. And what's really frightening is that when you watch social media, say libs of TikTok, which just got banned again, you see these teachers on there that are actually proud of themselves, talking about the gender queer and all these other things and transgenderism. And then we're hearing that in Minneapolis, the teachers union themselves said that if they're going to lay off teachers, they want to lay off white teachers first. How is this even legal? Let me ask you, Betsy McCaughey, again, former Lieutenant Governor, wish you were still the Lieutenant Governor of New York.
Clearly unconstitutional. And in addition, such an injustice to the young minority kids in those Minneapolis classrooms, because the fact is, behind that unconstitutional statement that whites will be fired before blacks was a crazy theory that black students must have black teachers. That does not prepare children for their future. Imagine a child graduating from school and thinking that his employer has to match his race. No, we need to bring children up to work in a multiracial society where we respect every individual for what they do, not for the color of their skin or their ethnicity.
Amen.
Stacy, let me ask you, school obviously should be a place where kids go to get an education and they're not having to deal with all this woke nonsense, the BLM flags in the classroom, the rainbow flags, the changing of genders and so forth. Here's a TikTok video. It's a viral video showing the outcome of what's happening when these kids are taught to be woke instead of learning what they really should be learning. Watch.
Do you know what country Joe Biden is originally from?
No.
Guess a country. Give me your best guess.
Afghanistan.
Yes.
Oh my God, so nice.
Stacy, this is going to be the future of our country if this continues in the classroom. I've got about 30 seconds to get your final thoughts.
Well, God help us all if that's the future of our classrooms. We're going to need to do a lot better to save this country. And I think this is the job of every American right now. You have nothing better to do with your time than to be spending it trying to save our country. We have to all work together very hard right now to save America. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of hope. The project I'm working on right now is a mechanism to help identify and mark the pornographic books that are in our public school libraries. And it's called PAW Prints. It's a creation that I came up with, modeled it off of Tipper Gore's fight from the 1980s with pornographic lyrics in the music industry. And the paw print label has the Mama Grizzly bear claw logo, and it stands for Parental Advisory Warning. So we're going to try to get that through in the legislature in the next year in Virginia. And, maybe we'll succeed. And it's a stopgap measure until we can get those kind of books finally fully removed from the libraries.
Well, thank you so much, Stacy Langton. Keep fighting that good fight. Thank you so much, Betsy McCaughey, and also speaking out the truth and take America back. Thank you so much, ladies.